Imagine waking up one morning, looking out over the endless fields of Nebraska, the golden sea of soybeans and corn swaying in the wind, and realizing all of it, every acre, every harvest, every deal you thought was locked in, is slipping right through your fingers. That's where Nebraska finds itself right now, staring at the wreckage of promises made by Donald Trump, the man many there once believed was their economic savior.
We're getting ready for the first domino to fall, and we know what happens after the first one falls. Well, the state of Nebraska, the governor, Jim Pillen, has asked the federal government for help because they're not going to be able to pay their bills this year. And here's the problem in Nebraska. They had over a $2 billion contract with the Chinese government to export soybeans to China. Well, out of that $2 billion, they've canceled all the contracts. So out of that $2 billion, $350 million was state revenue taxes.
Nebraska is having one of the biggest cases of buyer's remorse in political history. They went all in for Trump, betting their livelihoods, their farms, their communities on his grand promises of prosperity. And what did they get in return? A ticking bankruptcy clock. Governor Jim Pillen is now doing something you don't often see from the tough-talking, chest-thumping Republican crowd. He's begging. Begging Washington. Begging Trump. Begging, essentially, for someone to swoop in and save Nebraska from the very policies Trump himself unleashed. It's a bit like asking the arsonist to come back with a fire hose after he set your house on fire.
In this video, we take a look at MAGA farmers in Nebraska who regret voting for Donald Trump after bankruptcy is now knocking at their doorsteps. So after the mass deportation policy was rolled out, a lot is happening in Nebraska because Nebraska is predominantly a farming state, and so majority of their farm produce are now going bad because there are no workers on the farm to pick up their fruits, their vegetables, and also attend to their livestock. So let's watch the following video. Then we'll come back here and discuss further about it. But before we watch the video, if you haven't yet liked this video, kindly like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Let's watch the video together.
Our state has in fact gone bankrupt. Due to his tariffs and the loss of all of our migrant farm workers, our state has lost over $500 million. It's so bad that Governor Pillen had to call and ask him for a bailout, and we don't know if he's going to give it to us. My husband and I did used to own a farm here in Nebraska, and thanks to the loss of all the workers, we went bankrupt, and bankruptcies in our state overall are at a record high right now.
Nebraska's economy runs on farming. Always has. Soybeans, corn, beef, you name it. They supply food to the world. But farming isn't just about tractors and wide skies. It's global. It's contracts with China, with Mexico, with Europe. And Nebraska had those contracts. They were selling billions in soybeans overseas, feeding not just families, but their entire economy. Then Trump decided to play America First hardball with tariffs. Suddenly, those billion-dollar deals with China vanished. Farmers who were counting on massive exports were left with mountains of unsold soybeans sitting in silos, rotting.
It's still just so weird to me because we all voted red. Nebraska, every county, every district overwhelmingly voted red, and that seems to have been the reason that we're all out of business now. And that just doesn't make that much sense to me. If you vote for a party, shouldn't they protect you? Shouldn't they pass policies that will help you stay out of bankruptcy? And it's not just the farms, but the whole state is going under because we voted red. When you're a farming family like mine, I can see now that it is important to think before you vote.
And I want you to know, I want to feel sorry for you. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to care at all. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because typically I have empathy, but I'm really, really tired of telling you farmers and you people that are in rural parts of the United States, I'm tired of telling you what your vote does to you. Yeah, I mean, you guys in the red states, you keep doing the same thing over and over again.
The state has lost over $500 million since Trump stepped into the White House. That's not winning so much you're tired of winning. That's losing so badly it threatens the entire backbone of the state. And let's talk labor. Because here's the irony Nebraska didn't see coming. Farming is grueling work. It's not glamorous, it's backbreaking. And who's been doing that work for decades? Immigrants. Migrants who come in season after season to plant, pick, and keep the food flowing. Without them, crops don't get harvested. Without them, Nebraska can't function. But Trump's deportation campaign changed all of that. Suddenly, Nebraska's fields are empty, not of crops, but of workers. The soybeans and corn are out there, ripe and ready, but there's nobody to pick them. And guess what? No amount of Hire Americans First slogans is making Nebraskans line up for the jobs. Because let's be real, no American kid is dropping their phone, their Starbucks, and their college dreams to go break their back picking soybeans in the blazing Nebraska sun.
The governor also goes on to say that because the migrant farmers weren't able to work in Nebraska this summer, that those people didn't pay their taxes either. And the farmers who already have crops in the ground, folks, they've already spent their money. They're going to need help too because they're not getting any money from the contracts anymore. So Nebraska is the first state. And when you look at the Midwest, you're probably looking at Kansas, you're looking at Iowa, South Dakota, all of those places that are large exporters of grains to China and depend on migrant farm labor. They're not going to be able to pay their bills either. So here's the first one to fall. But of course, as we do know, a certain person in a certain house in Washington, D.C. at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, they know all about bankruptcy. I'm sure they'll be able to help.
So now, Nebraska is in crisis mode. Crops are rotting. Exports have evaporated. The state government is staring down bankruptcy. And the same MAGA supporters who once chanted "Build the Wall" at rallies are now realizing that wall just boxed them in. The irony is almost cinematic. The very policies they cheered for, tariffs, deportations, America first, are the ones strangling them.
I know right now, people, it's hard to find some joy in some things, but what I find joy in is I just watched a video on Montana where the Montana farmers are going bankrupt. I think the state voted 100% districts to what's going on now, so and then I look at Nebraska and see all the farmers crying about how they're losing everything, and then I look at Nebraska and how much they voted for this and how the farmers endorsed all this, and I say, them. And then I'm watching the soybean farmers crying about how they can't export soybeans anymore because nobody wants them and they're losing money, but they supported this. Them. Then I saw a video on vegetable farmers in Alabama that all their crops are going rotten because they don't have anybody to work the fields, but they voted for this, so them. You all got what you voted for. You. We tried to tell you.
Nebraska wanted protection. What they got was isolation. They wanted prosperity. What they got was poverty. They wanted to take America back. Now they're wondering if they can even take their farms back from the bank. And here's the kicker. Trump is still selling them the dream. He's out there, promising another economic boom, another wave of greatness. But how many times can you fall for the same line before you start to wonder if maybe, just maybe, you're being played? Because let's zoom out. This isn't just about Nebraska. This is about a bigger pattern. Communities that put blind faith in a politician who told them exactly what they wanted to hear. That their way of life would be protected. That their jobs would come back. That their farms would thrive. Only to discover that slogans don't balance checkbooks and rallies don't pay mortgages.
In the first quarter of 2025, bankruptcies for farmers exceeded the 2024 total for the year. And in the second quarter, according to new reporting that just came out, they doubled last year's number. So the farmers that overwhelmingly voted for the administration we have are filing bankruptcies at a record pace. The last time farm bankruptcies were this high was during Trump's last term. For somebody that claims to love farmers, he sure just consistently hurts them. In fact, the last time it was this high was between 2018 and 2019.
Now, the people of Nebraska are learning the hard way that democracy isn't about cheering the loudest at a rally. It's about policy. It's about cause and effect. And when you vote for someone who doesn't understand global trade, who doesn't respect the role of immigrants in America's food system, who thinks protectionism is a magic wand, you don't just get tough talk. You get consequences. Nebraska's farms aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They're generations of families. They're small towns that depend on harvests. They're kids who dreamed of taking over the family farm, only to watch it collapse under tariffs and labor shortages. This isn't an abstract policy debate. This is dinner tables going empty, bank accounts being drained, and futures being stolen. So, what do you think? Is Nebraska just the first domino to fall in Trump's so-called economic miracle? And if this is what winning looks like, how much more of it can America afford?
Welcome back. So in this video, we took a look at the situation of the state of Nebraska, where MAGA farmers in Nebraska now regret voting for Donald Trump because some of them are now going or filing for bankruptcy because things have become difficult for farmers in the state of Nebraska. Now, Nebraska is predominantly a farming state, and so the mass deportation policy, which sought to wipe the United States out of illegal immigrants, really affected them. Now, majority of this undocumented immigrants were in the state of Nebraska helping to work on the farms in Nebraska. Some of them were picking fruits, vegetables, and the like, and some were also attending to cattle ranches and the likes, other livestock that are reared in the state of Nebraska. But it looks like things are becoming difficult nowadays because all these workers on the farms who were predominantly undocumented immigrants have now been rounded up and deported from the United States. Some are also in detention camps in the United States of America. So this is posing a huge threat to the state of Nebraska. They are not able to meet their budget and they are making heavy losses. Farmers in Nebraska are really making heavy losses, and this has even affected the entire state. And now the state is going through a lot. Let me know what you also think about all these in the comment section below. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and your family on other social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and other social media platforms. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Just click the subscribe button down here. Click on the subscribe button. Click as well on the notification bell. And I'd like to see you again in my next video.